Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning in. Before I get too involved, a rest in peace to Ray Liotta. Lost a really good actor who I'm gonna miss. That's for darn sure. But rest in peace. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. We had Double or Nothing last night, which seemed like it lasted 2 days, but I believe the show, not including the buy-in, was like 5 hours long. So, dear Lord, that's way too long for a pay-per-view. Sorry. But I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see all of it. But what I did see was excellent. It was very good. So let's dive into that a little bit. Obviously the main thing is CM Punk is the new AEW champion, which I'm a little surprised at. I didn't think they'd take it off of Hangman, but I think it makes sense. Obviously, they're trying to attract viewers and whatnot, so it makes sense. It was a really weird feud. Not one of my favorite feuds of his, that's for darn sure. Kind of confusing. That last promo between Punk and Page was really weird. It could have been really good, but it just seemed a little unfocused and a little off. And it almost felt like Punk and Page were nowhere near on the same page, and almost felt like Punk was trying to goad Page into a certain direction, and he didn't bite. I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or wasn't. I don't know what's going on. Which makes me wonder if there's some legit heat in the locker room on Punk. I mean, it makes sense. He's a very outspoken guy, and wouldn't be the first time. He's an interesting dude. Been lots of fan run-ins with him, lots of interesting interactions with other wrestlers. So, not really sure what's really going on behind the scenes. I can't wait to see a shoot interview someday when we find out what really happened. Because he did, in Page's last promo, he did kind of go into a little bit of Punk possibly being a bad influence on the locker room and being kind of hypocritical. So we'll have to wait and see what really happened there. But it was a good match. The two great wrestlers. I'm a big Hangman Adam Page fan. So seeing him go up against Punk, I thought in the ring they had really good chemistry and it worked well together. Had some really good spots there, and it was a good match. But Hangman has some great matches. Despite being this kind of a lackluster run, he's done some good matches. Personally, I would like to have seen him take it a little bit further, but I think it was a business decision to take the belt off of him and try to attract more viewers with Punk. Having, a familiar face, having him be the figurehead of the company, it makes sense. From a business standpoint, it does make sense. And Page's run, unfortunately, was a little lackluster. So, yeah, it makes sense to put the belt on Punk. Like I said, I kind of think there was some truth in a little bit of shooting in Page's promo. I'm wondering if he definitely feels that way, that there's some legit tension there. And in the media scrum afterwards, Punk kind of danced around that a little bit, so there might be some validity to that. I don't know, or maybe he was just being a little instigator like he is, I don't know. But it should be interesting. Wow, did Tony Khan come off as unprofessional during that scrum? Watched a little bit of it, and you would hardly know this guy was a billionaire the way he was swearing up a storm and reacting emotionally to one of the reporters who asked him about Eric Bischoff's comments regarding Punk and how Bischoff doesn't think that Punk ever drew anything, and you would have thought that Bischoff insulted Tony Khan's mother the way he reacted. It was interesting. But yeah, he was hyped up during that thing. I don't know how the heck he had that much energy after 5 hours of plus of doing a show, because probably reality probably been there for more like 12, if not more. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the rumors are of him doing some illegal substances might be true. I don't know, but how somebody could be that worked up is beyond me after putting in that much work. I seriously doubt that was just coffee talking, even though he had his coffee mug there. But yeah, it was interesting. Interesting little scrum there. It was a really good pay-per-view. Like I said, I haven't seen all of it yet, but what I did see was very good. 5 hours is a little too darn long. I just thank God that I didn't have to work today. Otherwise, I'd be hurting severely. But still, AEW always puts on really good pay-per-views. So I didn't have any doubt that it would be an excellent one, and it was a stacked card pretty much. So it was really good. I mean, there really weren't that many duds. I mean, the Jade Cargill versus I can't even think of her name right now. How bad is that? But her match could have been shorter. Some of the stuff with like the 3-way tag had some interesting spots, but man, it got redundant after a little while. I was kind of hoping that they'd take the belt off of Jurassic Express and maybe put it on either pretty much any of those other teams, either Hobbs and Ricky Starks or Swerve and Keith Lee would have. I would have been happy with, to tell you the truth, because I'm not really feeling this run anymore with Jurassic Express, and they need to pump up some of their other teams. They've got a great tag team division. They need to put. I think they need to put the belt on someone else. I think eventually they need to put this belt on Santana and Ortiz. I think that's who they need to put the belts on eventually. But that was a little over top low, not really great. Unfortunately, I didn't see all of the Hardy versus Young Bucks. I saw most of it. Young Bucks were, once again, we're kind of doing some Hardy moves. It was pretty much what you expected to be a spot fest, but still, that's something that a lot of people waited for and wanted for the ages. So that's really good. I didn't get to see the Wardlow versus MJF match, and I'm not happy about that. I'm gonna have to watch that and see what actually transpired, because I'm hearing reports that MJF's performance was really lackluster, and once again we have the rumors of him wanting to kind of fly off WWE, so we'll have to keep a tab on that. I don't know anymore. I try to see it. To me, it kind of looks like everything is a work, but I thought the Cody Rhodes deal was a work, so shame on me. So the MJF thing, and Cody Rhodes, from what I understand, did drop MJF's name on WWE television. So hey, we might be seeing him sooner than later. And so in the scrum, someone asked Tony Khan about that, and he declined to comment on that. So I don't know if there's some legitimate heat going on there. I don't know. Tony Khan's got to tighten up his ship and really start acting professionally, because I don't see AEW going much further if he doesn't really get his act together. I love AEW. I love the product, but he's going to drive this thing to the ground if he keeps behaving like a spoiled brat billionaire. Because right now he's kind of behaving like a kid with his toys, and that's no way to run a business. No way to multi-billion-dollar corporation or anything. So, kind of disappointing to see him behave in that manner, but But yeah, we had what do we have with TNT Championship? Well, not the championship. I'm sorry. That was the 3-way intergender match. It wasn't. It was to and if Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page won and Paige Van Zandt won, there wouldn't be any other challenges for those TNT belts from either Frankie Kazarian or Sammy Guevara from as long as Scorpio Sky held that belt. It was a fun match. Had stupid little moments with Tay Conte and Sammy Guevara, which you kind of expected, but it got a little, the interaction with Frank Kazarian, I should say. It was entertaining. And Paige Van Zandt impressed me. She really, she didn't look that green in the ring, and the interaction between her and Tay Conti was actually really good. I enjoyed that. So she looked like she had been practicing a lot, and it showed. She didn't show off any flaws in that one thing, and going against Tay Conti is probably the best choice they could have used for her, because the two of them have a martial arts background. They could have played off of that, so that was probably the best fit for her debut. And I think because of that, she looked good, because obviously both girls know how to take a hip toss, a judo throw, and all that. So I think that worked out. I think that was smart booking on their part, and she looked good. She looked good during the performance. She looked like she knew what she was doing. She played well off of Tay Conte, and it all looked good. It was interesting seeing her with the Maleficent's outfit in the beginning. That was kind of interesting. I'm not sure where they're going with that. They really need to develop Guevara's character more. He's just coming off like a punk now, and I guess maybe that is his character. I don't know, but they need to add some depth to that, to both those guys, and maybe that'll be in the next feud. I don't know. Who do you feud with next with him? God only knows. Because it looks like both these parties, it seemed like were playing up the heel aspect. So there really wasn't a babyface in this whole mix. It was kind of weird in that respect. Kind of interesting booking. Not really something you see a whole lot with heel versus heel. I thought for sure they were going to turn Scorpio Sky a face, because it seemed like he was naturally turning face at one point, and I was kind of shocked when they didn't go with it. I thought that would have been really good for this feud, but they decide not to, and decide to keep him as a heel, which was kind of weird. The pre-show. I believe it or not, I was looking forward to the whole Hookhausen thing. I really like Danhausen. He's a good wrestler. He's got a great gimmick, and I think the guy's hilarious. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, the whole horror aspect, the whole kind of like it's got a heavy metal thing going with it. I really like it, with the corpse paint and all that. It's entertaining to me. And then when you add Hook into the mix, who is an exact opposite of him, it creates an interesting odd couple pairing, and I find it amusing. I don't know. I really do. And I think the fact that they're putting Hook with Danhausen, I think that's going to add an extra dimension to Hook's character. I like where they're going with it. I think that's some good booking. I really do. I think it'll help Hook along, because he's obviously still very green, but pairing him up with Danhausen, he won't be as exposed with his flaws, and I think that's really going to work out quite well for them. What do we have? We have Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. Everything you could pretty much expect from this. They put on a clinic out there, which is what you expect from these two girls. I liked Thunder Rosa's entrance. It was pretty theatrical, and everything worked well. It's what you'd expect from these this pairing. That's about all I have to say. I'm a Thunder Rosa fan. I enjoyed that. So yeah, let's see. Who else was on the card? We had the Chris Jericho Appreciation Club thing. That was fun. My only regret with that was that I wish that they had spotlighted some of the newer guys more. Like Chris and Jake Hagar didn't need to be the ones finishing the match. I think that role should have been played by some of the other guys in the Appreciation Society. And I think it would have looked a lot better and would have brought them to the forefront. I think that might have been a little bit selfish on Chris Jericho's part. I don't think that was a good decision on their part. I think they should have tried to establish the other guys more, and that would have worked by having those guys strangle out, Bryan Danielson at the end. I think so. So I think they made a mistake there. I really do with the booking of that. That would have worked out, I think, much better with some of the younger guys pulling through on that and doing the deed at the end there. I think that would have worked out a lot better. But it is what it is, I guess. But yeah. We had the House of Black versus Death Triangle. I did not get to see this, unfortunately. So, I guess, like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get to see this. I guess Julia Hart ended up turning and aligning with the House of Black. I would like to see that. Obviously, that's something that they've been alluding to, and they kind of botched along the way. It was great seeing Martha Hart, and that little speech she gave was fun, and that was pretty. See, now stuff like this is the reason why I like AEW. I mean, things like this, and when you look back at like what they did for Brody Lee and whatnot, it showed a lot of heart with the company. Those are the things that I liked about this company and still do. And I hope they continue to do stuff like this because it kind of offsets some of the crazy stuff that Tony Khan says and does. But he's got to calm it down. It was cool seeing Britt Baker and Adam Cole take their respective belts. Real nice belts. They were beautiful belts that they had done for the Owen Hart. The Owen Hart, wow, the whole tournament, I should say, that really well done. Great cup that they're going to engrave their names on. So that was well done, and it was cool seeing those two come through. It was kind of weird that they had on the kind of the Owen Hart-ish ring attire, previous to them winning. I mean, you could almost say that was a precursor and kind of foreshadowing of them winning the whole thing. But that, wow, that was a good moment though. Having both of them and doing the power couple, it was a good payoff for Adam Cole. Needed it. He needed a big win. He needed a high profile win, and he got it. So there it is. That helped him out. I don't think Britt Baker really needed it. I would have rather seen Ruby Soho kind of do it, but it kind of plays into the aspect of having the power couple. So that in that instance, it kind of works. So it'll work. Besides from that, like I said, what I did see of the show was excellent, and as usual, AEW puts on a great pay-per-view. What we got next coming up, we got Hell in a Cell from WWE, which unfortunately they timed that, so that's going to be on the on my wife's birthday, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to watch that or not, but there are a couple of decent things going on there. I mean, I got this Riddle last week on Raw, put out his best promo yet. The real passionate promo that I thought worked really well about Randy and that whole thing, the RK Bro thing about Randy Orton hurting and whatnot. And I think he did a great job because you always see him coming out as the stoner and kind of the lax guy who doesn't do it. And it's nice to see some fire from him once in a while. And he made it work really well. I enjoyed that promo. Didn't get to see a lot of that going from last week with Raw, but that was one of the things that really stood out to me was his promo and his delivery of that, and it was about time we saw something like that from Riddle. It's about time. It really was the best promo I've ever seen with him. But here a lot of people are disrespecting that whole Vahir and Lawler segment. I kind of liked it. I hate to say it. Kind of built up Vahir and it did its job. I don't know why everybody's crapping all over that. It was kind of an old school segment from Lawler, and I didn't think it was that bad. I kind of got across what it needed to, and then brought out the Mysterios. Not really that much more looking towards this feud, but it did its job, and it gave Vahir a lot of a little bit more dimension. Let's see. It's aside from that, we're still kind of seeing where Alexa Bliss's character is going. Kind of weird, but she's kind of half going back to her old school character and kind of still retaining the whole doll thing. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, the doll is a huge merch mover, so they're continuing to plug that. So you'll see her come out with that for quite some time. But the only other thing, how can I forget, is the whole incident with Sasha Banks and Naomi. This isn't the first time she's pulled something like this, but it's probably the most dramatic, and she brings down Naomi with her, unfortunately, and I don't think, from what I understand, I've never heard a bad thing about Naomi, and I think she was just standing behind Sasha and was kind of talked into the whole deal. It's really, really kind of rotten what she did, what Sasha did. I understand the whole mental illness and mental health thing, but Sasha has had a history of kind of taking her ball and going home. I mean, she's done this repeatedly, and I know she has some issues, but at the same time, you gotta be responsible for your actions. And taking the belts in, just kind of dropping them off like that, that's pretty unprofessional, especially when she mentioned, two of the opponents that were going to be in that match 2 weeks ago that they didn't feel they belonged in the ring, basically, with. And I don't know if it was a safety thing they were concerned with, but I don't see that. Nikki Ash and Doudrop, I don't see as any type of safety threat to anyone. I don't know, but they obviously felt like creatively that wasn't where they wanted to go with it. So, it's a shame. I'm hoping they bring Naomi back. I really am. Especially with the whole linkage with the Bloodline faction and whatnot. I'm really hoping that they bring her back and don't hold any ill will towards her. I'm sure there's going to be kind of a probationary period if she comes back, but the whole Sasha Banks thing, she's got other things in Hollywood going on. She's obviously got The Mandalorian going on now. She really doesn't need the WWE as much, but I hope they don't bring her back. I really don't. She's been given way too many chances, and it's sad because there's somebody with a ton of upside, ton of possibilities, but it just seems like every time they get something going, she kind of blows it. And in the past we had her staging our protests with Bayley, and we've had her, staying home for extended periods of time, and yeah, I think it's just time to give her walking papers and say goodbye. And I just pray to God that AEW does not pick her up. I know. I don't think God might, but I hope that he doesn't. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure he'd throw out that kind of money, just to have somebody who no shows. But I do hope that they give Naomi a second chance, and I hope that they bring her back. So, on that note, that's about a good chance and opportunity to end the show. Please continue to pray for the Ukrainian people and send your support via, Red Cross, UNICEF, all the valid organizations out there that will actually get relief to the Ukrainian people, and your prayers out to them. A shout out to Crushing Kayfabe, crushingkayfabe.com, crushing with a K. And you can check out all of our social media from there. You can check out our Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com and search for Crushing Kayfabe, and for just $1 a month, you can get ad-free audio. So it helps us keep the lights on and whatnot. So it's very much appreciated. But in addition to that, I'd like to give a shout out to Lucky Lady Candles. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. And in addition to that, check out Then and Now Flea Market. You can purchase some of my merchandise there. You can purchase my CD there, and you can purchase some handmade goods from my wife there, along with a whole lot of other things from a variety of different vendors. You can get some new stuff, some old stuff, some handmade stuff. Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, Tennessee. Check them out, and pretty soon, starting in June, we're going to have our own booth at Peggy's Attic in Milan, Tennessee. So you'll be able to buy some merchandise from there. Just look for our booth in there. So pretty soon I'll keep everybody updated. But we're going to have a booth there too. So that's about it. Like I said, keep the Ukrainian people in your prayers. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.